Hi friends, so I am back again to continue with that same topic that we were dealing the other day, that is about resource. And we said resources are so important and they are so scarce that we need to do proper planning to how to decide how to utilize these resources, how to conserve them for the future purpose, how to preserve them and so on. So for that the best method is to do planning. If everyone is planning to do their own way, then there will be no coordination and the resources will be running out very fast. They will be getting depleted. So for that the government has taken initiative at the UN level. Hundreds of countries came together and discussed that each country should make their own proper planning. So accordingly, India has made the plans, how the resources are to be made use. So let us see today how the India government has made the plan with regard to resource using and for development. So you can follow your textbook, page number 4. Resources planning is a complex process which involves. So first of all, it is a very complex. Complex means not simple, very complicated. So it is very complex process. Why it is a complex process? Let's see. Because we need to do identification and inventory of the resources across the country. It is complex because we need to do identification. We need to identify. We need to identify the resources, and we have to make an inventory. Inventory means to mark out each resource, how much it is, how much of coal deposit is there, how much of iron ore is there, how much of fuel deposits are there. So all the resources we have to identify, then we have to find out what is the quantity. Is it a very small amount or is it a large amount, or how deep it is? All that we have to identify and find out. So it is not a simple thing, because it is not just remaining on top of the earth, it is under the earth. So to identify and to do the proper management and inventory, all that is very difficult things. So in order to do this identifying, what do we need to do? We need to do survey. We need to conduct the survey to find out which are the areas there is deposits of the resources. Then we have to do mapping. So then we have to draw the map, the areas where these resources are there. Then we have to do the qualitative and quantitative estimation. Then we have to find out what is the quality of this resource. Is it a first class quality or is it third class quality? And the quantity also we have to find out, whether it is in small quantity or big quantity, a large quantity. So all that we need to do the survey, do the map to identify the quality and quantity and so on. So that is why we say it is very difficult, it is a very complex process. Then secondly, we say it is complex because evolving a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology, skill, institutional setup for implementing resource developments. So once we have finished identifying and found out the quality and the quantity of the resources that are there, then we need to do the proper technology to dig it out, because we cannot just go and collect with our bare hands. We need to use proper technology to mine out, because it may be very deep under the earth. So we have to do the mining, and for that we need technology, we need the proper equipment and so on. So all that is needed. Then thirdly, we say it is very complex because matching the resource development plans with overall national development plans. So we have to do the matching. So certain areas may have a lot of resources, some other places may not have sufficient resources. So there should be matching. Suppose the place which has got a lot of resources, only that place is developing, other places are just left out, then there is no proper development. So we should properly manage with the available resources throughout the country should come up, economically develop. So that should be the plans. That's why we say resource planning is a very complex thing. It is not a very simple thing, it is very complex. So after identifying the thing, we need to do a lot of, you need to use a lot of technology, institutions and so on in order to make it available for use. Then even after getting it, we have to make sure that it is all spent for the development of all the areas of the country. Not only just one area, but it is used for development of all the areas. That is another difficult task. Then India has made concerted efforts for achieving the goals of resource planning. So we said India has made concerted efforts. Concerted means joint or combined efforts. So not just one person alone is sitting and discussing, but made a combination of all the people, different agents, agencies, different state governments and so all have combined together and made an effort in order to do this proper planning. Then it was started right from the first 5-year plan launched after independence. So that was the primary thing for the Indian government after the independence to do it. So after getting independence, India began to plan out 5-year plans. First 5-year plan, then second 5-year plan, third 5-year plan, fourth 5-year plan and so on. So during the first 5 years, they will discuss which are the most important development to be taken up during this 5 year. So we try to complete that work within 5 years. Then again comes next 5 years. So during these 5 years, what shall we do? So government has been doing this proper planning to give importance to all the places, all the regions of our country by using the resources, by using the resource planning and trying to trying to develop all parts of our country. Then the availability of resources is a necessary condition for the development of any region. So we say every part of the country should be developed. Every region of the country should be developed. So simply if we say develop, the development will not come. For that we need some inputs. So what are the inputs for development? The resources. So there should be enough resources in our country. Only then we can think about or plan about development. Suppose in a country there are no resources at all, then development we have to think, how are we going to develop? We have to buy from other countries. That is how Japan did. Japan has got very few or very little natural resources, but that has become one of the richest countries. Why? Because they bought the resources from other countries and they invested in their country and they educated their people, gave them technology, and technical skill and so on. That way they got developed in that area and they are able to become one of the richest countries in India. Though they are very small, much smaller than India, but they have used their skill properly and they have achieved development. So for India, we need to do the proper planning and channelize in which direction we must go for the development. So mere availability of resources in the absence of corresponding changes in technology and institutions may hinder development. So we say sometimes we may have a lot of resources, but does not mean we can do a lot of development. So if there are lot of development, lot of resources are there in our country, then that alone will not bring us development. In order to bring development, what do we need? We need to take it out, because it may be deep down under the earth. We need to take it out and then we need to use. For that we need lot of technology. If you go with a spade and go on digging, we will not succeed in mining out the resources. But we need the technology which can dig deep, hundreds of meters down. We have to dig deep and then we need to take out, extract the oil for other resources. And also we need the institutions. Institution means the company, the offices and so on. So mission alone will not go and work. Somebody should be there behind, the officers, the company or the government officer. So whoever it may be, all that institutions are also required. Then there are many regions in our country that are rich in resources, but these are included in economically backward regions. So if you go to Chhattisgarh, Bihar and so on, Jharkhand, all these states, they are very rich in minerals. But if you look at the economic situation of that country or of that region, or the development of these states, we will find the people are very poor. Their GDP is below the average of the national GDP. So why? That is a region of resources and they are rich in resources, but that region is very poor, continue to remain poor. What is the reason? The resources are taken by few people or by government, and the people are not getting the benefits. They may be losing their field, government takes away their field for mining and so on. So those people just remain like laborers and they are not getting any benefits. But there are some other regions which have very poor resources, but they are economically developed. And some other states in our country, they don't have any resources, but the people are rich there. They are economically rich or developed. So that is a very contracting situation. People who have got plenty of resources, they are not developed, and people don't have resources, they are developed. So that is a really contradictory situation. The reason is people are not benefiting of that resources that are there in their presence in their area. On the other hand, people who don't have resources, they invest in some other places. Maybe they invest in education. So they get educated, they get job, and so the economic situation of the people increase. Or they begin some factory, some manufacturing company, and they buy the resources from other states and produce things, and people of that area, they get job, they work hard and they develop. So it is not the presence of the resources that make people rich, but the willingness to invest, the willingness to plan out, the willingness to use the technology, the skill, that will make the people rich or poor. So those who are willing to work hard, people who are willing to do proper planning, then they will naturally become rich. Then the history of the colonization, the British were colonizing India, and nearly 150-200 years India was under the rule of British. And so if you look at the history, why did these people come to India and make India their colony? What is the reason? It was because they were attracted by the resources. They were attracted by the resources in India. So they came as a business people. They came as a traders because they realized there's plenty of resources are there in India. Therefore, they wanted to make colony here and they wanted to take all the resources to their country and develop their country while India remained poor. So that was the situation. All the invaders, all the foreign countries, so many others also came. Portugals, they all came and they were all aiming at the resources in our country. And it was primarily the higher level of technological development of the colonizing countries that helped them to exploit resources of other regions and establish the supremacy over the colonies. So, why did these people come to India in order to take or carry the resources? Why didn't the people of India use these resources? Because India was still in the primitive stage and there was no new technology. We did not have the access to the new technology. We were still living in the primitive stage. And so the people from other countries, they knew the technology well. They had access to the new technology. They were able to extract and so we were just watching. Others came and carried all the things and went to their country for development, while we were watching what these people are doing. And so we were not educated, we were not aware about the usefulness of resources, and so because of that we lost all those things. People carried away all those things. And so therefore the resources can contribute to development only when they are accompanied by appropriate technological development and institutional changes. So, as we said, some states in India, they are not developed at all because they do not know how to make use of these resources. They just work as laborers. They have no access to these resources and they don't know how to use these resources because lack of education. The people there are not trained. They are mostly working as farmers, and what will the farmer do if they get the iron ore from under the earth or crude oil from under the earth? What can they do? They do not know what to do with that. So they just work as laborer. Somebody else who has got the technology, they come and take the things and they go on their way, and the people remain poor. And that is what the foreigners also did. English people, the Dutch people, they all did the same thing. We were just watching. They came with greater technology, newer technology, then they drilled the earth and took the minerals and then went away. So they had the technology and they had that institution, and therefore they were able to develop. In India we were lacking in all these things, and therefore we could not think about the usefulness of these things and we were just watching. Then India has experienced all this in different phases of colonization. So the colonization period in India was too long. It was more than 150 years, and therefore during these 150 plus years India was experiencing how these people are taking away the benefits of India, the resources of India, and they are making use of it in their land, while we are just deprived of it because we do not know what is the value of it, we do not know what is the usefulness of it, therefore we just others to take it away. So in general, development and resource development in particular does not only involve the availability of resources but also technology, quality of human resources and historical experience of the people. So when we have these resources in our country and if we want to make use of it, what are we to do? We should have technology, we should have the latest technology, then we should have the skill, the human resources. People should be educated and should be trained how to take it out. Simply go and keep on machine there, they will not do the drilling. People people should work behind that. So people should have skill, then only they will be able to operate this machine, and they should know how to take it out. Machine will work only according to the direction that people give. So otherwise machine will go on working and there may be no result. So we should direct the machine, and we should control the machine, and we should know how to do all these things, and we should take out the minerals and do the processing, and we should make use of it for manufacturing something, for making use of it for development and so on. So if we don't have these things, then we may have plenty of minerals in our country, but it is of no use. But if we have persons, if we have got technology, then if we have got quality also matters. The quality of the minerals, the quality of the resources, that also matters. If we have good quality minerals, then we will be able to produce better, we will be able to manufacture better things. Otherwise, we will be able to produce only small things or less qualitative things. So we need to have these things. So that is in general the idea that we need to have in order to do the resource planning. We should have, it is a complex thing because we have to identify the resources, we have to measure it, we have to do the mapping, then we have to do the measurement or survey and find out what is the quality of this, or what is the quantity, or how much is there, or that. Then we need to use proper technology to take it out, and we need to have proper institution, the company with the trained people, with officers and so on. Otherwise all these things will be wasted. So having resource alone is not enough, but we need to have people, human resource, that is more important. So if human resource is there, we'll be able to think, we'll be able to plan out, and we'll be able to use it for a better purpose. And that is what the colonizers did. People who came to India and made colony, in their colony, they had the technology, they had the skilled people, they had the institution. Therefore they used all these minerals from India, the resources from India, and they made use of it while we were only watching. That is what happened. So in order that not happen in the future, we need to develop our technology, we need to have proper skill, proper know-how, proper knowledge and so on. So education is the only way. People who never go to school, or people who think that education is not important, or people who think that for me just getting pass mark is enough. If you have that kind of attitude, then we are not able to contribute for the development of the country. We just think about only ourselves and not about the nation. So I encourage all of you to learn maximum, to get maximum knowledge, not just somehow passing through, but get maximum knowledge and be a human resource to the nation, so that we can make use of these resources in India, and we can convert them into useful things and help the development of the nation. So I wish you all the best, study well and do well for the nation and for the society. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. We'll meet you again the next day. Bye.